I think everything is set in place now.
It says recording, and so that means we're on Zoom, right?
I think we're live. Yeah, I think we've started.
Awesome. So here we are, May 11th, 2020, supposedly coming toward the end of all the stay-at-home restrictions, possibly being able to open up the studio back here in a few weeks, maybe. What are we on? Episode number 36 of the Wellness and Weight Loss for Women and Men Too podcast and video show, right?
Absolutely.
So how are you doing today, Nick?
Doing well. Today's a good day.
A lot of good stuff going on, right?
Lots of amazing stuff going on.
Yeah. So I'm actually standing up. Whoever's watching on video might see that I look like I'm standing up, and I am, because I haven't had massage therapy in, I don't know, it feels like forever, because massage therapists haven't been able to work, much like a lot of other industries. And I need massage therapy. Like, I can't go too long without deep tissue work. So I'm starting to feel the effects, even with all my stretching and my body work and stuff. That, that's what's saving me right now. But the massage therapy works wonders, especially on a beat up body like this, from all the crazy stuff over the years, the sports and the heavy weightlifting and the silly injuries I inflicted on myself. So I'm standing up because my left side doesn't want to sit down any longer. And that's what you see on video. There's so much to talk about. So much great stuff going on, despite the challenge we're going through. And it's not so much a challenge, it's just a time of change. And we're seeing a lot of really cool and interesting stuff happen on our end, with people finding us and us having new services to offer to help people. So should we start with the title of today's episode?
Let's start with the title. Do I need to remember it? Can I cheat?
Go ahead, yeah. Cheat.
So many good things to talk about. All right, so this one is the #1 best eating method for healthy weight loss and body fat reduction.
Yeah, good topic, very timely. And a lot of the episodes, the topic material comes from what's going on lately or the most recent happenings. And so I almost changed it 3 times because there's so much good stuff going on. I didn't know where to start or what we're going to be able to fit. So I'm saving some things for the next episode and beyond, because some of these things that are being shared and posted in the SCULPTAFIT Club Facebook group is just life-changing. And people need to hear this stuff to see what's possible. So before we get into this, where can people go to find us to make sure that they stay connected to us? They continue to stay connected to us. They get closer and closer into our world, and become part of what we're doing. Where should they go, Nick?
So probably the best way to keep updated, no matter if you're local or long distance, would probably be fitnesstraining.live, right? Is that where you would?
Yeah, it's a good place to start. Get some freebies, a couple of videos to try on your own, no charge. And then when you get on there at fitnesstraining.live, when you sign up with your name and email address, you'll get everything we send out, like every video update, every episode. If you don't subscribe directly to the podcast or video channel on YouTube, you'll get an email from us at least once a week with all the latest things going on, any events we're holding, any free Zoom video training sessions we're doing, all the good stuff. So that's the perfect place to start. And then if people are local and they're like, hey, look at this place, like this is in our neighborhood, we want to come try it, or find out what different services they offer for us, what should they do?
So SCULPTAFIT.com, SCULPTAFIT.com. You can call us or text us, 904-891-3680. You can find us on Facebook at SCULPTAFIT. You can come on by the studio. We should be opening soon. But the best would probably be get on the website or reach out to us directly. Send us a text, shoot us over a call. Our email and contact information is all over there as well. And we can get you in once we're able to get in. Or those Zoom classes, Joey, those Zoom sessions, our personal training and our group sessions have been gold.
Yeah.
Keep getting better and better.
Yeah. So if we weren't pushed to do all those things, there's a lot of people who wouldn't be being helped by us right now. Like we literally have people finding us the first time ever because of some of the freebies we've been sending out, and all the new information we've been sharing. So because of all that, we've had people try the free Zoom class, want the replays, and sign up for our total access video on demand private portal. And then we've had people reaching out saying, oh, you guys are doing one-on-one long distance personal training. That's exactly what I need, because I can't even leave the house when this is over because I have kids, or, you know, we're doing this and I need you to train me via video one-on-one as my personal trainer. So we're getting personal training clients now as an extension of how we had to start training our studio personal training clients. They're seeing how good it is. They're starting to share that, and it's starting to spread. So we literally have almost like 2 brand new services that are an extension of the studio, where we're going to continue to be able to grow and reach the world and help people with. Speaking of that, this podcast, okay, is being found by women and some men too, organically, like just simply quote unquote by chance. So our latest, Denise Lorentz, right? She emailed us through the SCULPTAFIT Club website, our local studio website, a few days ago. And I love to find out how people have found us, like what led them to us. So she put in her email address, her phone number. She said, following the podcast, love you guys, love what you talk about. I think she said, I want to sign up for total access, you know, tell me what to do. So I immediately called her. Like as soon as I had a couple minutes, I called her to find out the whole story, because we need to replicate the way these people are finding us, but we need to know how that happens first. So I had a great conversation with her. She said, basically, I listen to podcasts while I do my kitchen work. And back in January, I was like, I think she said she was searching for weight loss for women. And she said, I found you guys. You guys came up. And I started listening, and like, they're talking my language. Like everything they're saying is resonating with me. It's making all the sense in the world, because I've tried all the other stuff. Like I've hit all the dead ends. I've gotten hurt. And she said, I just keep listening. And every time you guys just make more and more sense. And I really enjoy the type of information you share and the way you share it in a very realistic, gentle, and non-intimidating way. So that was awesome to hear that. And she signed up for Total Access. So she's in the Total Access Video On Demand program. She's in the private Facebook group now. I actually tagged her earlier. I told her we're going to be mentioning her on the podcast.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Denise. You're awesome. I appreciate the info. We all appreciate it. And we look to replicate this over and over, because Nick, do you remember how this podcast started? Do you remember what made us start this? Do you remember that conversation? You might not, because it was a busy time.
It was a busy time.
Even though we're busier now.
Refresh my memory.
So our Facebook advertising account had been shut down, suspended.
That's right.
Right. And we were like, all right, like we still have to reach our ideal people. So we were able to get the Facebook account back up again, but we still learned a lesson. We need more. So I said, we're going to start a podcast. And we decided we're also going to shoot the video as we're recording the audio podcast, right? So that even if our Facebook ad account gets shut down, we have our own media piece here that we're doing. And we're going to create this podcast. And I said, if our info is good enough and it resonates with the people we're trying to help, our target markets, it's going to spread naturally. And we may develop a larger, broader audience that doesn't even live locally. And that's what's happening now. You remember that conversation?
I do remember that now. And what's awesome is that I think what I've heard too, feedback-wise, is that we're breaking things down in a way that makes sense. So there's a lot of fitness podcasts out there that are just, you need like a degree in science to understand all of their biohacking this and that and how many milligrams of this, and it's just not realistic to a day-to-day life when you're trying to live for health and lived as
Oh,
well.
exactly.
So
And that ties into the topic we're going to cover today. But so that fires us up to continue to do these podcasts because we know what we set out to do is happening.
mm-hmm.
We're reaching people who never knew of us before, and they're becoming clients of ours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not just the free information, they love what we're doing. They're willing to pay for our unique programs and process and methodologies. How awesome is that? So we're doing more and more of it. So now, before we get into it, anybody watching on video sees that I'm drinking something. And at least once here or there, somebody will say, hey, what were you drinking when you were doing that episode number 36? I'm going to hold this up on video. Nick, can you see this? Organic baked cinnamon apple tea from Tazo. So 2 bags. This is my mid-morning snack, if you would, because I don't like to eat until later in the day, which is part of the topic we're going to talk about. So I drink various teas throughout the morning. This is what I'm drinking right now. It's so good.
Is it strong? Does it taste like cinnamon apple?
It tastes like cinnamon apple, but not very strong. It's just enough, and you could make it to the degree that you want it, depending on how much water you use. So we're going to save some stories for episode 37. Just a lot of awesome things going on with people. Some people may remember me mentioning Fit Guy Revival, a program I'm putting together with a friend of mine, Fit Guy Revival. And I had a high school buddy of mine reach out, big guy, mountain of a guy, football player through high school, college, could have maybe been pro. But he was watching one of my Facebook Lives, me cooking in the kitchen on a Saturday night. He's like, dude, you're ripped. Like you're even in better shape than high school. I need your help. So long story short, I said, okay, you're going to be one of our before and after superstars for Fit Guy Revival. I'm going to help you. You're going to follow through, but you're going to be one of our Fit Guy Revival actual beta testers now that we have a name for the program. And you'll be a before and after story. So he's now 1 week into the program. And even in the first few days, he's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, now remember, he was a football player. They used to do heavy squats, like all the big stuff. Mm-hmm. So he's like, are you sure like all your body weight stuff is going to help a guy like me? Like, trust me. He did the first workout, like one of our lower body sessions, all body weight. Right. He's like, I'm even more sore than like the weight room workouts. He's like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. He's like, I can't walk. Like, he pushed himself a little bit because, football player guys are like that. His body weight stuff isn't going to do much, but he's like, I was sore for 3 days in my whole lower body. So we're 1 week in now. He's like, man, this is awesome. Like, I'm learning you don't need CrossFit. You don't need HIIT training. You don't need, body blasting boot camps. He's like, this is just, I didn't never known, like slowing everything down and doing it safely this way, that you could actually feel yourself working harder, but safer. And then afterward, you feel like you worked muscles you never touched before in your life, mm-hmm. even if you did hardcore stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be an awesome, awesome story. He's got his before photos all done, and the principles are all the same. Like the principles from him carried over to a female. The principles are the same, but the specifics are slightly different, right? There's adjustment for everybody, which takes us into today's topic, the number 1 best eating method for healthy weight loss and body fat reduction. All right. Now, this is not a blanket statement for everybody, okay? There are people in certain little pockets. There are people with certain legitimate medical issues, legitimate proven through and through allergies, not like these, possible allergies. And this is for like average people, like your average person in society who's a victim of, just being on the go, overeating, eating all the wrong foods, getting out of shape, overweight, tired, and not knowing actually what to do except listen to all these crazy marketing messages of You know, you don't have to exercise and diet. You just take this pill and this powder on your food, and then the pill after the meal, and you're going to lose all the weight. Or you do need to do these hardcore workouts, and you do need to do these crazy diets. That's the only way your body's going to change, blah, blah, blah. And on and on and on. The truth is, when people start doing these crazy diets, right, that are not normal, like we're not made to eat the way these trendy, faddish diets are saying people are supposed to eat. That's not what nature intended us to do. And that's why most people, the majority, not everybody, because there's always a small percentage who can do keto and paleo this, and they can stick with it for longer than the average person. But the average person, average busy person like we are, and the people we help and deal with, they can't stick to that stuff for long. Number one, because it's too rigid and extreme, and you can't carry it around with you wherever you go, right. Vacation, visiting people, etc. And things start to happen to their body: hair loss, energy drop, moodiness, weakness, fatigue, you name it. And other people actually start to experience internal health issues with these extreme kinds of eating methods. So everybody wants to know, like, well, what do I do? Like, if my regular methods of eating don't work and these diet plans don't work, what am I supposed to do? Well, the answer has always existed. The problem is people have gotten away from it and have had the smoke and mirrors in front of them the whole time, and they can't see with clarity. They can't understand the truth. So the number one eating method is, it basically comes down to intuitive eating. Like, we got to rely on our intuition to let us know when we're truly, truly hungry and what our bodies really want and need, right? So that's intuition. Most people don't rely on their own senses to determine what and when to eat. They're relying on the food supply placed around them. Right. They're relying on their emotions to trigger their eating. They're relying on their lack of self-awareness to give them the freedom to overeat and eat the wrong things. And they're not taking self-responsibility. Now, intuitive eating first means that you have to tune into your intuition, right? Part of that means, okay, I need to sit down and really define what's important to me and really get my health goals on paper, my reasons why I have these health and wellness goals, right? And when we get all this done, as you know, like, this is part of our startup process for all new clients, right? We have the FitQ questionnaires, and for our long distance remote personal training clients as well. And we do this with our coaching clients. Like, you have to fill out these important reasons why we're starting all this in the first place, right? Because those reasons why are what fuels the mindset that helps them develop this intuition about how they're going to go through their day and make choices, right? So it's tuning in to the self instead of the externals, right? People let the externals take them way off track, and their friends do it too. And before you know it, they just finished lunch, right? They're coming out of a lunch place and somebody says, hey, what do you want to do for dinner later? What? You just finished lunch. Like, no, go live your life. You just ate. Forget it. It's so hilarious. And it's happened right here, like in front of the studio. We got one restaurant to the right, the popcorn candy place. There's the restaurant to the left, another restaurant, chocolate store, right? We got a chocolate store in the mall here. There's another restaurant, tropical smoothie. There's the yogurt place, and then there's Starbucks, which we love Starbucks, right?
40, 60, 70% restaurant food. You're right.
Yeah, restaurants, food, desserts, sugar, candy, right? And I'll hear somebody come out of the restaurant sometimes if I'm up front here like I am right now, and they'll just have finished lunch, and somebody will say, hey, what are we doing for dinner later? It's funny. It's very humorous, but that's how people are. Like, they live to eat. Right. You cannot live to eat. You have to eat to live. right? So the equation has to flip and the mindset has to flip. Your foods have to fuel you. Your foods have to sustain you. You can't let them kill you, right? So the people, I've been working with a handful of private coaching clients, and one of the biggest things we've had to work on, actually two. One is their style of fitness training, because that actually affects the appetite and metabolism. And then two is their eating style. And part of cleaning up their eating style is helping them get past these previous ideas of doing this diet or that bodybuilding diet, or eating 8 meals a day, otherwise they're going to go into starvation mode, or doing, keto to get all the body fat off. And like, I get it. Like, average people are susceptible to believing all these things, especially when somebody who's promoting it looks as if they're in some kind of shape. Okay? They make it believable. People go for it. The problem is that's not the norm. It's far from the norm. So the main things I've had to overcome with people are letting them realize that if you go until 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and this is for somebody who's trying to lose body fat, trying to lose weight, if you go until 10, 11, 12 o'clock and you're not hungry, that's okay. Like, some people actually legitimately thought, oh, well, I went to another trainer, nutritionist, and they said if you don't eat like in the morning to start up your metabolism, you're going to make your metabolism drop. Now, I'm not saying that what intermittent fasting is referred to, and I call time-defined eating, is right for everybody, because not everybody has to do it. I have some clients who don't need to do it. They have a different approach to their eating. It's more of like what we call an ebb and flow menu. Like, it's just different, and they just pay attention to their true appetite, and they know when and what to eat. And it's not rocket science. So this thing about intuitive eating and just tuning into, like, number one, your true hunger levels, and number two, not being susceptible to like myths or ideas that are supposed to work but actually don't work for everybody. If the body is not hungry and it's not sending signals to truly feed us out of real legitimate hunger, then there's no reason to feed it. And if we do that, we find that, generally speaking, this is not a blanket statement, our energy gets better, our digestion gets better, we start to feel lighter, and the excess body fat starts to drop off the body. All right? Now, we still have to make sure that the choices we're choosing from when we do eat, right, whether it's starting at 11, 12, 10:30, 1 o'clock on any given day, and we have that eating window that starts, that we're making the right choices, we're making choices. Now, what people say, well, okay, I need to learn, what are those right choices? Because I hear different things from different people. I heard you can't eat fruit or the sugar turns to fat. Like, are you serious? Like, all these fruits were put on this earth for us not to eat?
Yeah, and then they grab
That's impossible, right? It's right. It's context. Like, fruit is great, quote unquote, in moderation, as part of a generally healthy, well-balanced nutrition plan, not a diet, a nutrition and meal plan. There's a massive abundance of vegetables, all kinds of awesome varieties on this earth by design for human beings. Like, however you want to say we were created and brought to be, with us came all the nutrition we ever need on this earth by design, because it becomes our body. You are what you eat is 100% true. Everything we eat becomes this human body, literally. That's how people get diseased. They're eating all bad stuff, drinking all bad stuff. Their cells turn into diseased cells as the new cells get replaced with the bad ones, as the old cells get replaced with the new bad ones. Sorry. So by eating as good of a variety of vegetables, salad items, healthy fruits, nuts and seeds, some animal proteins if you're into clean animal proteins, healthy fats, if we eat from those sources in abundance, starting with, and I'm a big proponent of eating mostly vegetables and salads, and then some fruits, nuts and seeds, and some animal proteins, some healthy carbs, in that order, then what we find is we feel fantastic. Our body fat naturally drops on its own, and our medical profiles get better. Again, this is generally speaking. Most people will and should agree with us here. There might be some who say, oh, no, that's not true. You know, it doesn't work for everybody. No, it doesn't work for every single person. There are some people, tiny percentage, who either can get away with doing extreme radical stuff or might need to make tweaks based on what we're speaking about here. So am I starting to make a little sense there for the crowds we're talking to?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And with the intermittent fasting, what you're talking about, I just want to clarify for people that may be listening and new. You're not talking about a strict, at 11:01 you have this, and then at 7:01 it's intuitive eating. Like that's what you said. Like you've got to feel when your body is hungry and adapt based on your levels. I have a friend who she wakes up at 4 a.m. to go to work, and she's done by maybe 1. So for her, it makes more sense because she's got breaks throughout the morning. She actually starts eating at 6 a.m. and then by 2, she's done for the day and she's winding down for the evening. And for her, that works, and it works for her body. So it's not like what you're talking about. There's no secret, if this, then this, and this, and this. And if you add in this secret X factor, it's fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, your nuts, and like everything when your body wants and needs it. Truly wants and needs it. Not, I feel like I need a Snickers right now, but your body is giving you those signals.
There's some latitude. There's plenty of latitude and flexibility. I can tell you this, like with the one-on-one remote coaching clients and the small group coaching clients I work with, one of the most surprising things that they find, generally speaking, now this is not with everybody, because I actually do have some clients that I'm coaching to actually build up their bodies a bit. They're not looking for weight loss. They're looking to build and sculpt their body because their weight is fine, but they have other issues. One of the biggest surprising things is that people become aware of when they're actually doing the accountability coaching with me is that they're like, I didn't realize how much carbohydrates I was eating. Like my diet was way too much carbohydrate. But I just didn't know, like, until like we've been tracking it for a few days. Now I can see, right? So a lot of people aren't really aware of how off their eating is because they're not truly paying close attention. And then mix that with some misunderstanding, and then it's like, there's a lot of uncertainty and wrong actions being taken. So once we start looking at this stuff closely and tracking it, it becomes much more clear on what things need to be adjusted and what needs to be changed. We got the UPS guy. Is that for us? Is that for us here? I'll be right back, Nick. You keep talking. UPS is here.
All right. So I think where Joe is going, he's gonna come back soon. Is that, and he's actually, this is going to be a big question. So if you are not sure what your intuition is telling you, right? So there's a lot of different diets out there that say, this is what you need, this is what you need, and it's overwhelming. And then you also feel, okay, am I eating too much? Am I eating not enough? We're going to give you some steps to kind of make sure that your intuition is actually correct. Did we get something fun and exciting, Joey?
It's not for us. It's for the chiropractor's office next door.
Man.
I knew it.
Something fun. All right. So what I was just talking about is, what are the steps? So if you want to get to intuitive eating, but you want to make sure that your intuition is correct, what are the steps? Kind of like you were saying, like possibly creating that food log and realizing where, you may be overeating in certain aspects or certain macronutrients. If I were to come to you and say, Joey, I want to start intuitive eating, but I don't feel like my intuition is on the right track, what steps would I take to get there?
Awesome question. So the first one is just, you have to realize that a lot of what you're hearing out there is nonsense. It's very, very misleading. It'll take you down the wrong path. Actually, this is something we spoke about on my last small group private coaching call. Like everybody in the group calls, like one of the biggest things I'm learning amongst the other things is that we just have to basically not pay attention to anything, almost anything we see on Facebook, on YouTube, on Google. Like most of it is very misleading. It's like you think you see something worth reading, and before you know it, like you're being sold some kind of like new diet craze or new pill or new supplement that's supposed to make you drop fat. So they're like, I'm learning that we actually already have the answers. Like there's nothing that's going to come out that's going to change us or get us to lose 10 pounds overnight or be the answer. We have the answer now, right? So the first thing is to realize that everything you've heard or you think is supposed to be right that you can't do or that you've tried and failed is not right. Like those things won't help you, right? All the simplified answers already exist. You have to just open yourself up to getting, like living the truth. Everybody knows they have to eat properly. Everybody knows they're supposed to be eating more veggies, more salads. And yeah, some people think it's boring and it's bland, but we also have to learn how to cook those things and prepare them properly so that they actually taste awesome and you start craving them. Those are two very different things. Mm-hmm. Eating bland veggies steamed is way different than having, a fusion super soup recipe from the Total Access on Demand portal and like having your socks knocked off.
Awesome. Yeah, those your cooking videos in there are, they're so good.
Thank you. Like, it really is different. I will have people, they've posted in the private Facebook group. Like, here's an example. I never thought I liked cooked carrots, but I tried your roasted baby carrots in the toaster oven and OMG, I love eating these things now. That's one example. There are many of them. Yeah. So another part of it, taking steps toward intuitive eating, is learning what real options you have that can be part of your intuitive eating program, because that makes you want to do it more and it becomes more intuitive to you when you want to do more. So it's like this self-fulfilling process where when you learn what was wrong, you know what becomes right, you learn how to do the right things even better and make them more enjoyable. And then they start to become second nature for you the more you implement them and learn them. And then as you start doing this, even in the early stages, and you realize, oh, I feel better. My energy is coming back. I feel lighter already. My clothes are fitting better. Like this is kind of too easy almost, right? But if you look at what you've changed and you pay attention to the difference between what you used to be doing versus what you're doing now, there are some clear differences there. And those differences in what you're doing allow the body to naturally make the changes it wants to make. Because the body wants to be healthy. Mm-hmm. Like we're designed to be healthy, but we have to give the body the right inputs to allow it to produce health. If we put in the wrong inputs, it's going to deteriorate our health and it's going to take us to a place of disease, premature aging, etc. If we fuel it properly, then we get the better outcomes. This is where intuitive eating comes in. Part of the intuition is internalizing the fact that we just mentioned. What you feed your body affects the outcome of your health and your life. That has to become part of your intuitive thinking process. So if you accept that as truth, right? That becomes part of your belief system, then your intuition is going to guide you toward staying away from the double bacon cheeseburger made on processed white bread with the mayo and all this other stuff, toward a grilled salmon salad with a small sweet potato on the side, or cauliflower, etc. Your intuition now will guide you to the choices because you're programming your belief system to know what is bad for us and what is really good for us by nature's design, by divine design. When you internalize this stuff, that becomes your intuitive guide system, right? So it's a multifaceted process. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So take away the noise. Don't listen to all the crap that's out there. Figure out your why. Tune into your food has a direct effect on how you perform and how you live. And find healthy, awesome recipes that you love.
Right. And when this is being done properly, and this is what people say. This is what people say. Here's what it should sound like. Like, this almost seems too easy. Like, I don't feel dysfunctional. I don't feel like I'm obsessing over my foods and having to think about them when I'm not even eating, and then worried about if I'm going to make the wrong choice. Like, it almost feels like too relaxed and easy and commonsensical, because it is. And everything they were doing was the opposite of that. But now you get to a place where it's just very relaxed and chill. Like, I just know what to choose now. And the cool thing is, when you get to this place, all these choices that we are supposed to make, they're available to us anywhere now. Like, we can go anywhere. We can go to Starbucks and make proper choices in there if we want to. We can also wreck ourselves in there, but we can make perfect choices for our nutrition if we have our guidelines right and using our personal intuition for how we fuel the body. In this day and age, there's no excuse anymore. It becomes a matter of choice with intentions behind them. That's it. And then really knowing what is mythology and garbage versus what is truth and real. And this is what we try to bring people, right?
Yeah, that's it.
This is what we're here for. This is why we do this, to teach and lead by example with the truth.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. Yeah, that's number one best eating method for healthy weight loss and body fat reduction. So when we start to internalize it and live it through, this is how I changed my whole health profile and my body. Like, people see me now, like, you're in better shape than you were like 15 years ago, let alone 20 or 30. Like, you know, whatever you're doing is right. And Dr. Osborne, they have an inside joke there. Who's going to be the fittest this year? Is it going to be me or Dr. Osborne? Because I bring it in there. Like, I love showing my good numbers. For me, that's my milestone marker. And how we treat our bodies and what we put into it has a direct effect on what's going on the inside. That has to become part of our intuition. Now, again, I'm not speaking for every single individual, but I'm speaking for most average people without question. Like, you know as well as I do, most average people are victims of all of this swirl around out there, you know, like on again, off again, dieting, not dieting. I gained 30 pounds. Now I'm going to go on this big extreme, you know, whatever, like you name it, right? It's way simpler than that. And that's part of the problem. The problem most people don't realize is that it's so simple and the answers are right at their fingertips. Mm-hmm. They just have to believe it and understand it, and then have a little bit of proper guidance. Some people need guidance on really putting together an initial foundation plan that they can go build on their own after they get a good running start with professional help to reset their mind and body. And that's what we do. And that's why we're here. And that's why we talk about it. And sometimes our free stuff helps people. And sometimes people listen to us and are like, you know what? They're speaking my language. I want them to help me. I want them to help me get to where I want to go faster than I would on my own. And then I'll be good to go. So on that note, where should we send people if they're just jumping in here and they missed the first part of it? Where can we send people who want our help, from the free stuff to the local classes to the online private coaching, the total access video on demand portal? Let's review where they can hook up with us.
Let's review it. Fitnesstraining.live. Fitnesstraining.live. You can go to SCULPTAFIT.com. That's SCULPTAFIT.com. Facebook, SCULPTAFIT. Facebook, Joey the Truth Atlas, right? I love it. Or Nick Doherty. Or you can, if you are local in the Jacksonville, St. John's, Mandarin, St. Augustine area, Ponte Vedra, Orange Park, all of it. You can call us 904-891-3680, or connect with us on any of those platforms, and we will help you out. We'll get you what you need.
Perfect. So fitnesstraining.live is the best starting place for anybody who's remote. You want to get started in our world for free, get a taste, get on a notifications list. And then from there, we've got every level you could possibly want or need from us forever. On that note, next episode, we're going to be talking about specific success stories. Like, I'm literally going to be reading people's posts in the private Facebook group and some emails that came in, talking about specific life-changing stories, not for us, for our egos or anything, but to show and show the listener and let listeners hear, oh, here's what somebody's experiencing at this stage of their life. That sounds like me, and that sounds exactly like what I need and what I want. So we've got a couple of cellulite success stories, not just cellulite, but whole body and life success stories that started with this thing called cellulite, which actually doesn't exist, but we'll get into that in the next episode when I share some of these success stories. We've got another success story about a woman who was kind of unsure, not really knowing what to do, on again, off again. She started with one of my one-off programs, and then she saw everybody talking about Total Access on Demand and all the full programming and all the new stuff. And she's like, hey, I want to be in there too. So she signed up for Total Access on Demand. And we have predetermined schedules for people to follow, so they don't have to guess about what to do on what given day. And everything's doable. Like, this is all made to fit into your schedule at home or at the office or wherever. And she's like, this is what I've needed all along. I've needed this my whole life. Now I've got it. Like, I wish I found this sooner. But the words they use, which I'm going to read their words because they're golden and they're going to help people just by listening to what these people say. We're going to be reading those next episode because there are some real gems revealed. There's a lot. I've got them compiled. And that's going to be one episode by itself. And we'll probably end up doing more episodes as a lot of this activity increases. And there's more stories, true to life stories of people turning things around and exactly how they did it. Because those stories inspire others who are still looking for something, who say, hey, that person sounds like me. I want to achieve that too. Let me in, please help me. So we're going to be sharing those because they are gold. I'm literally going to be reading them verbatim from what the people posted.
Oh,
there's nothing to change.
I can't wait.
That's it. This is episode number 36 of the Wellness and Weight Loss for Women and Men Too podcast and video show. We done, Nick?
We're done. All right.
Peace, love, and light. See you next time.
Yeah.